Welcome, everyone, to Locks of Lore. My name is Benny.
And I'm Tash.
This is Locks of Lore, where two hairstylists get real about the life behind the chair.
We are talking client drama, money talks, industry tea, and everything you'd normally only hear in the back room.
Whether you're a stylist or just love the beauty world, welcome to the group chat. And we are here. I'm so excited for today's episode. Tash, I think we really have a good one.
I really was just going to say that. I feel like we have so much good stuff to chat about today.
Yeah, I'm really excited to get into it. But first, my name is Benny, and I am the 9V that you put on every single client, regardless of what the level of lift, and just hope for the best. Because sometimes that's all we got is just a hope, a prayer, and one tube of 9V.
It's so funny because that is pretty similar to my formula today, which is the formula. Half a tube of everything on the shelf and vibes because confidence is in the developer.
100%. How many times have we just looked at the color bar? And maybe not for you, because it sounds like you really stock up. But I do stock up, but I don't have more than one or two of each color. So if I've run out of something, then I'm like fucking figuring it out. But how many times have you looked at a formula and you're like, I'm gonna add this and this and this and hope it works out. And it ends up being the best formula of your fucking life. And then you're like, I can never recreate this
Uh,
unless sometimes now I'm getting smart and I'm actually writing things down. What a fucking revolutionary idea, writing down a formula.
who would have thought?
Who would have thunk it? But like it'll be something stupid. I actually have one formula that ended up being 40 grams. I don't remember the numbers of what the actual colors are, but it was 40 grams of something, 10 grams or 11 grams of something else, 3 grams of this. And then there's a little asterisk in the note like, play around with this part of the formula because I don't remember how much that was, but that was the bulk of the base. And then the rest was just, it was because the colors I'd put in there, I think it was like a 6, a 7, and a something, but I needed to lighten it, so I only added some 8 or a 9. Oh, I used the level 10 to lighten it. Just play around with the level 10 to lighten it a little bit.
You wrote that formula down. Writing that down was so helpful. Just play around with it until it feels right.
Yeah, it was literally asterisk at the bottom. It was 3 parts of the formula, and then one part was like, "Just play around."
That's so fun. You know what? I do keep my shelves really stocked, but I also love the challenge. If I run out of something, I actually love that challenge of trying to replicate. But I am a colorist, so I feel like that is my favorite pastime.
What, is recreating things?
Yeah, is recreating things. Like it's not for every stylist. And I know, in my younger stylist days, that would have been so stressful and
Yeah.
a lot of stylists, will stress out about that. I love that challenge. I love trying to replicate something. I think it's so fun.
You know what's funny is now that I'm thinking about it, I don't think I've ever tried to actually replicate a color. I think I've tried to make something that would be a substitute for, but I
Mhm.
don't think I've ever tried to make something that would be comparable to. You know what I mean?
But what happens if you have a client coming back and they're like, I want the exact same thing? And you're like,
I
okay.
don't know. I don't know. That's what I mean. That's why sometimes I'm like, fuck, Benny, write this down. Like, that was really, really nice. Or if it's because I don't really have a lot of new clients. A lot of my clients are
Mhm.
repeat. So to be
Yeah.
honest, we don't really change a lot. Or I just know that I've figured out a few formulas for them that end up being the ones
Then
that we
it's in your
cycle
head.
through. And it's in my head, this exact letter number. But like I know you do well with like the blues in your ash, or like you have always done well with like some
Yes.
greens or
You
some
get to know
reds.
for sure. You get to know what works with what guest for sure. Yeah.
But that's interesting because I've never been like, "Ooh, I'm out of this color. Let me try and recreate it."
Yeah. Oh, I love that. I love that challenge. That
Except
being
pearl.
said,
Pearl I've tried to make before.
okay, what did you do?
I used oh my god, and I was so surprised. I used, platinum blush, which is like a kind of pinky toner
Yeah.
with platinum smoke and a
Nice.
little bit of gold, like tiny, like drop just to balance that out. Side by side, I would not be able to tell the difference because I was just fucking freeballing it. I wasn't trying to make
Yeah.
pearl. I was just
Yeah.
like, "Ooh, these would be cute," and it's a client that I do all the time, and she was like, "Fuck around, let's see some fun stuff." And I remember looking at it in the bowl being like, "Well, I'll be damned. I just made pearl." Wait a minute, but that makes sense because pearl is pink and silver. So, yeah, I made pearl, but we don't have a pearl in our platinum series. Sick,
Mm,
I just made a
you're very
pearl,
girl.
my favorite, like, blonde formula.
without even trying.
without even trying. I was really just fucking around. That's great though. And the funny the actual funny thing is we used to do a lot of pearl on her, and this time I was like, "Let's try something new."
Girl,
And it ended up being fucking pearl.
she couldn't get away. It's just
And,
well,
but she played along. She's like, "Oh, this looks so cool. I love
so
this. This"
different. Yeah. Oh,
I legit in the bowl was like, "Oh, fuck, this is just pearl all over again. This is
oh,
great."
that's amazing.
It's so
Well,
funny.
yep.
Mhm. Okay, so this week on the top of the list, a couple of interesting updates in the hair industry.
Hmm,
Some of them aren't necessarily exactly related to hair. This I found really interesting. Mac will now be sold at Sephora. They
shut
just
up.
Yeah, they just after 41 years of business, Mac is officially entering Sephora US stores.
Wow, I wonder how Mac people feel about this.
Yeah, because that's gonna devastate people walking into the Mac store because people love
Yeah.
Sephora.
Yes, they do, and people love Mac. People are very you're Mac or you're Sephora, I
Oh,
think.
is that how it goes?
Well, I just think that Mac has such serious followers and people that love it, but so I just wonder how they will feel knowing that it's going into Sephora. I'm
Well,
curious.
what they'll most likely do, which makes the most sense, is they won't release everything and it'll only be certain
Uh,
things at Sephora. So if you need a
yes.
specific thing, you still have to go to Mac.
Yeah.
Um, which obviously that makes sense. But yeah, I didn't think about this the salespeople at Mac. Are they gonna be like, great, now half the people that would have come to see me, do they make commission?
I would assume so, and
Yeah.
then, Mac also has their makeup artists working there, right, that will do your
Yeah.
makeup. I wonder if people are losing jobs.
Well, I guess time will tell, but I thought that was a pretty interesting
That is
thing
really
happening
interesting.
in the industry this week. And then, okay, so I saw one thing saying there's a new COO of Revlon. Have you been using Revlon or did you follow when I remember what was it that I heard that they were being sold, that they were no longer being produced anymore and everybody was taking it out of salons or it was
Oh,
only coming from
yeah.
France. Do you remember that?
I do remember this. This was, like, a few years ago.
Okay, so Revlon is currently executing a strategic turnaround following its 2022 bankruptcy.
Oh, right.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah, that makes sense. I remember thinking that that Equave spray that they make is one of my favorites. We used it all throughout hair school, so the fragrance from that just kind of triggers me and brings me right
Yeah.
back to hair school. But have you ever used the Schwarzkopf spray? It is almost exactly identical. It
Oh,
is
really?
blue on the bottom, light at the top. You have to shake it, and the smell is also exactly the same. They might have changed it since then, but I remember back in 2022 and people were like, "Oh, what do I buy now?" Well, I guess you could buy the Schwarzkopf one that's a little bit more expensive. That's
Hmm,
literally a dupe that was made afterwards. Huh?
wild.
Yeah,
Uh,
wow.
did you hear that Salon Communications has been bought as well?
What's Salon Communications?
Salon Magazine, Contessa Awards, anything under all of that umbrella has been acquired by Canadian media executive Colin Sutherland.
Okay, I've got multiple questions. Number 1, were they already owned by somebody else? I thought those were all independent things.
No, they were owned by Tom Arkell, who previously served as CEO and publisher. The deal includes Salon Magazine and the Contessa Awards, which will now operate alongside Sutherland's existing portfolio Modern Salon, Salon Today, Nails, and Barbering Today. So, yeah, it's going to be interesting. I'm curious to see what the Contessas look like this year and if they
Mm.
are any different than previous years because it's under new ownership.
Well, chances are they'll probably have more money. That's usually what ends up happening with those kind of things,
Fingers
right?
crossed. Something
They get
yeah.
bigger.
Yeah, so that's curious.
Yeah. Oh,
Curious
that's
are
really interesting.
yeah.
Good to know.
Things to know is right.
Yeah. Okay, so Tash, I actually have a question for you. So I sent you some stuff on TikTok. Do you remember watching those?
Mhm. Oh,
Yeah,
I
those
do
were
remember,
really
yeah.
fun. Of course you did. Who would forget? Ties in really well with what we're talking about today. The TikToks that I sent you about the girl getting fired by her hairstylist.
Yes, I remember that
Yeah,
was wild.
that that was absolutely out of pocket and wild. Did I take a screenshot of the text message? Because I wanted to read it to
Of
all of
me and
you.
you?
No, not of me and
Oh,
you. Of the
oh, the one no, the stylist sent her the firing.
Yes, the firing. So this woman being fired, her name was Brittany. She receives a text message from her hairstylist saying, "Hi, I've really enjoyed our time together, but I don't think I'd like to take you on as a client any longer." That is it. That's the whole text message. And so this woman, who apparently has been seeing this person for 6 years, seemingly out of the blue, she gets this text message and
Mhm.
she really takes it as if it's a partner breaking up with her.
Breakup.
It was a breakup, not just like, "I guess I'll have to find new hairstylists." Right after that, she posted a video of her being like, "It's 12 hours, no response. I guess I'm
Yeah.
moving on now."
Yeah.
Huh?
I
What is your take on this?
I wanna hear from the hairstylist's
Oh,
point of view, which I feel like we're never gonna hear that, and that's probably the smartest thing that they could do, but man, I wanna hear the reasoning behind this firing because there's always a reasoning.
there's always a reasoning. And honestly, I would love to hear it too. And if you are the hairstylist that fired that client, can you please anonymously write us in? We
Yes.
obviously don't have to tell anybody who you are. The whole world wants to know what it was that made you fire that client because something had to have happened. After doing someone's hair for 6 years, her hair doesn't look difficult to do.
It's like literally a
It's
solid.
literally just a solid color. Like, I couldn't tell if she had extensions or anything, but it doesn't look like it's difficult. It had to have been either a personality clash or political something.
Now, my take is if this is the way that she was just reacting to the firing, which sure, but like, how does she react? Or is she messaging her stylist off the hook all the time? I feel like if this
Uh,
is the way she's reacting, she's blowing it up all over the internet. She's maybe doesn't leave this hairstylist alone. She's treating it like a
I didn't
relationship,
even think about that. So she probably has been messaging that person a lot for almost 6 years.
I guess, and they finally just had enough.
Interesting. It seemed
Oh,
like the text message to me was professional. It didn't seem to me from that text they were very friendly. It just seemed like it was very
business.
professional, business.
Yeah. Yeah.
So maybe if she had been messaging him a lot, it kind of sounds like that person wasn't reciprocating, which
Hmm.
maybe she would have been already tipped off that, hey, I've been messaging this person a lot. They're not really reciprocating. I'm hoping she would have pieced that together.
Yeah.
I'm wondering if she said something in the salon. I think that she might have said something in the last meeting that she might have been alluding to for years and has always kind of
Mhm.
tiptoed around. And then in a moment of comfort, probably said something that probably had to deal with something political, looking at the
Yeah.
climate that we're living in right now. She
Yeah.
might have agreed with something that was happening or didn't say anything about something else that was coming up in a conversation, and the hairstylist clocked it. I am gonna marinate on this for a while, and then later on said but she also didn't let us know if she had an appointment recently.
Uh-huh. Yeah, that's a very interesting take. I didn't think of it that way. Like maybe it was something that she said and made the stylist feel uncomfortable.
I felt like it was probably something like that. Yeah, I don't know what it is, but anyway, so this kinda took off on TikTok, and the comments were crazy.
Mm.
Everybody was eating her alive, and she still didn't stop. She still was posting multiple
Like
posts.
updating people on how she still hadn't heard from the stylist. Like nothing's actually new, but I'm just gonna give you another update that he still hasn't replied to me.
Literally nobody asked, yet
Yeah.
here's the next video updating you on how I am doing with this
Yeah.
situation. But
She's not okay.
do you remember what she said to this hairstylist afterwards? She might have just asked why. I don't
No.
remember what she replied.
But like who's gonna do her solid color for her?
Who? On her
Who?
2 teaspoons of hair. Like,
Exactly. Who is gonna help her?
so the internet took over and basically was telling us stories about why they've had to, fire clients. Have you ever had to fire a client?
I have fired multiple clients, Benny.
Really?
Have you?
I've only actually actively fired one person.
Really?
Yeah. I
Wow.
have phased people out. I
Okay,
guess
yeah.
that would be like a quiet fire, but I've
Yeah,
only had to actually tell one person, "I
yeah.
am not doing your hair anymore, and you will no
Mhm.
longer be able to book," type of thing.
Yeah.
Okay, so
What's
tell me
yours?
yours.
Oh, I wanna hear
You wanna
yours.
hear mine? Okay. So, let's just name this person, Jane, okay? Let's just keep it super simple. So
Yep.
Jane was a client that came to me. I actually don't remember how I got her as a client, but she was a duo. So her and her best friend and business partner were clients of mine. They did photo shoots sometimes, so I would do the photo work. And to be honest, she was relatively nice. I never had any issues with her. She definitely had mean girl energy. To be honest with you, a lot of my clients have mean girl energy, and I
Mhm.
find that I also very much am fine with women who have mean girl energy. It doesn't affect me. Like, I find those are actually a lot of my friends and they're very
Drawn to you?
sweet. She would always be very loud about how much money she made. And I don't care about that sort of stuff. Like,
Mhm.
at this point in my career, it was a long time ago. So I was nowhere near where I am now. I did like marketing and experiences. She would always brag about how much she would charge a client. And after a while, it just got to be the point where I was like, I
I know.
roll. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
I get it. Yeah.
We get it. I don't really notice if someone tips me or not. I just kind of take the lump sum and I just put
Oh,
it
no.
in my pocket, or I just look at the number at the end of the day. I don't like to look and see what people tip because,
Yeah.
to be fair, you don't have to tip me at all. And if you do, I'm very
Yeah.
grateful. Maybe she was the only person I was doing that day. And this day in particular, she got to the appointment late, just ran upstairs, asked me to move her car because she couldn't park it there properly
She asked you to move her car?
because she was already late. She's like, I just can't park here for too long because I was on a busy street. So you have a short period of time that you're allowed to park there before you're supposed to move. Okay, I guess I'll go find you parking. She ordered a lunch from a place around the corner and a bottle of wine. So I picked that up while I moved her
No
car.
way.
I swear to God. And that's not something that I wouldn't do for a client. If you're sitting in my chair and I have a break or I just come or whatever, yeah, I'll go move your car. I don't care. I'm very customer service oriented. So that wasn't the crazy thing for me. What was
Uh-huh.
crazy was after doing this entire myriad of,
Yeah.
side quests that day to get her hair done, she didn't tip me a single penny.
Oh
And
my
I don't care, but I didn't that one day in particular, you literally sat here and talked the whole day about how much money you make and
yeah,
sent me on all these things and you
yeah,
didn't
you
tip
were
me.
run around for her.
And it's not like I was charging a lot back then, probably half of what I'm charging now. It was just one of those situations where you're like, "Hey, I'm gonna pay attention to that." I'm not
Yeah,
mad, but I'm noticing it now, right? So
yeah,
then for the next, 2 years I did her hair or whatever, 3 years, maybe 4, I just noticed that she would never tip, and that's fine. But
yeah.
then she started to get really loud in the salon. So at this point, I'd moved to a new salon where I was with other people, and she would always be leaving her phone on speaker while she did these
Oh
conferences.
my god, that's cringe.
And she
That's
also
not
was a very
cool.
loud talker. She was the type that would project, and she just didn't seem to be aware of people around her and would always move her head. She always got highlights, so she'd always move her head. I'm trying to fucking do your highlights and you're moving your head and you're on the phone. Girl, get your priorities straight and pick another time.
Yeah.
Do the call in like half an hour when you're processing. Do you have to do this every single time? You know? And
Oh.
so then I just didn't like her as a person after a while. But the straw that broke the camel's back was lockdown. Of course, everybody's appointments gets canceled, right? Getting back into the salon, I had sent a message to every single client saying, "Hey, if you had an appointment already booked, I'm going to put you on a list to rebook you when we reopen." She
Right.
didn't already have an appointment that was canceled. I still sent a message saying, "Hey, if you'd like to get on that pre-book list, let me know and I'll put your name in the communication list so that as soon as we find out if salons can open, I will immediately send you a message and it's first come, first serve, book your appointments,"
Yeah,
right?
in order that people let you know. I do
Yes.
the exact same thing.
And
Yeah,
that's fair, right? That's
yeah.
what everybody was doing. It seems pretty fair across the
How
board.
else do you do it, right? That's totally fair. Yeah,
So she said, "No, I don't want to put my name on the list." And I said, "Bet. Cool." In my mind, I already don't like doing your hair. I think we had opened and then we had closed really quickly. So I only really did a couple of people. And so the second time going around, I remembered saying to the whole list again, "Hey, if you'd like to get on this pre book list yet again, just let me know." And for a second time, she declined to get on the list. And in my mind, I'm like praying, I hope she found another hairstylist, because she also moved out of the city. You know what? This is a perfect opportunity for her to find something new.
yeah, it's perfect.
Right? So we've opened the salons back up and it's 2 days before we're actually back in work, and she's like, "Hey, I really need to get my hair done." "Cool, I'll see you in, like, a month."
At the end of the
Huh? What are you talking about?" "Yeah, I have a photo shoot in 5 days, and I just really can't do it with roots." And I was like, "Well, that sucks
uh,
because I definitely don't have time in the next 5 days.
yeah,
I told you to pre-book, and you didn't, and now you need your hair done." She was like, "Yeah, but aren't you gonna be able to find a way to squeeze me in?" And I literally said, "Your poor planning is not my priority." I remembered saying those exact words. The fact that you did not plan this and you knew that we'd open and everything would be rushing,
Yeah,
now you want me to sacrifice somebody else. And I remembered at this time going back, like I was already doing 12, 11-hour days. I would
yeah.
bring pre-workout to work so that midway through I could just jam a pre-workout and go out and smash some highlights. Like those were crazy times. Yeah. And I remember literally saying, like, "Girl, fuck off." And then after like the third or fourth message of her berating me to make it my priority, I actually was like, "You know what? I am not gonna do your hair in a month. I will not be doing your hair at all. I would recommend you find a hairstylist out where you live because clearly you need somebody who's a little bit more available and has the availability to put up with this. But I do
Yeah.
not, don't want to be doing your hair anymore." And at this point, her friend had also low key told me that they were like on the outs and she was dissolving the
Mhm,
company and whatever. You know what, girl? You are being drafted in the NFL already.
mhm.
No friends left. I don't want to be doing your hair. Don't come to see me. Just kick rocks. Best wishes finding a new stylist and getting them to be doing your hair before this photo shoot. And then I remembered hearing a year or 2 later that she moved to Florida because she's a Trumper.
Oh, it all sense.
It all clicked
It
at that exact
all
moment. You know what? Thank
Yep,
God I fired
yep,
her.
yep, it all makes
It
sense.
all makes sense, right?
Good job firing
I
her, yeah.
know. I know. I actually look at that as a
100%.
highlight of my career. And if you ask any one of my clients right now, when they sit in the chair, one thing every client of mine will say is, "You have the best clients." Because I really have truly the best clients. They can all be friends with each other. Everybody's cool. There's not a single person I don't like spending my time with. But she
Totally.
was that one person that would just drain my energy. And when I
Oh,
told her I am not doing your hair anymore, it was one of the best moments of my career.
just a weight lifted off your shoulders, right?
Ah, it felt so good, but she's the only person that I've had to outwardly fire. Everybody else, I've either just raised their price so much. If I'm gonna have to do your hair, you're gonna pay for it so that I don't feel like I'm being used or
Yeah.
that my energy is being, taken from me. And of course, naturally, they just stop booking.
Move
But
on.
yeah.
Yeah.
But besides that, what about you? Tell me how you've had to fire a client or what made you fire
Okay,
clients.
well, I don't know. I mean, being a female in the industry, and especially when I was in my early 20s, like I worked in a salon. There were 3 of us girls in there. We were all best friends, and we literally would get asked out every single
Oh
day
wow.
by random clients, to the point where we actually had a tally in the back room, each of our names on it, and then every day, like, at least once a day, someone would make a line on the tally
Oh
because they
my
got asked
god.
out. But there was this one guy in particular, he had long, black, like, one-end colored
Of
hair, so
course,
he would
yeah,
come in all the time and
yeah.
get us to color his hair, and he would, like, talk about his cars and how he
Was it, like,
wanted.
kind of frizzy curly?
Well, he would make us flat iron it, so
Mm.
not super
He's
curly, but
making
kinda
fun of her.
frizzy. Yeah.
I
Looking back, I'm like, he was doing all of this to spend more time with us, but he just was trying to find reasons to be in there, and then he kinda honed down on me because for a while there, he would just kinda see whoever he could get in with, and then constantly he was booking with me, which, okay, like, what he was, he was nice enough, but he started to get more and more creepy,
Okay.
and he, like, had asked me out a few times at the salon, and I was like, "I have a boyfriend. Sorry, whatever, no."
Mhm.
But he started showing up places that I would go. So, like, I'd be I'd be doing his hair, and he'd be like, "Oh, what are you doing this weekend?" "Oh, I'm going to this show. There's, like, a band playing that I wanna see at this place." Just small talk, right?
Yeah.
Not thinking anything of it. And then I will never forget this one night I show up at this one club that I'm gonna go see this band at, and he's waiting for me at the front door. And I'm, like, with a couple of my girlfriends, and he's waiting for me, and he's like, "Oh, there you are," he says. And I'm like, "You have literally been standing here waiting for me to show up because I told you that I was gonna be at this show." It all kinda just, like, hit me, like, this
Yeah.
guy is kinda stalking me.
Yeah.
Then I started getting emails from him.
Oh my god.
Feel like my email must have been on my business card or something. I don't know how he got my email otherwise, but he started emailing me about how, "You know that we're meant to be together, and I know that you know this. I know that in the back of my mind, you just need to admit it, that we are meant to be together." And I was like, "This is too far." And so I
Way
finally
too far.
way too far, and I was so young and so, a different person back then. It was hard for me to just tell you to fuck off.
Yeah.
And, you're trying to, like, please your clients, and where's the line that you don't cross or cross, do you know?
Yeah.
So anyways, I finally wrote him this email after multiple emails from him, like, telling me to admit that we're in love, and I just said, like, "I am not comfortable doing your hair anymore. This is, like, getting insane. If you want to see somebody else at the salon, feel free, but I'm not going to be doing your hair." And he was pissed. He sent emails back about how angry he was, and he never ended up coming back in, of course, as if he's gonna
Oh, good.
the other girl's chair, so he didn't. But it was scary.
Like,
It
he
was
didn't
really
go to
scary.
anybody else either? Like, he
No,
didn't come back,
he
period?
no, that was it. That was it, but it was years of a buildup to get to that point
Wow,
where
yeah.
he finally went crazy on me and started stalking me, and I had to fire him, and it was scary,
That
and I
is
was
pretty scary.
like, I was scared to run into him at places because now he knew the kind of places I would hang out, and
100%, and it's not like you live in the big cities.
exactly, exact like, and he knew the kind of music I liked, right? So if there's gonna be a show, he knows if I'm gonna be there, not especially back then when, I was young and went out every weekend.
Yeah,
So
100%.
yeah, that was,
Oof,
uh that was one of the ones that really stands out for me. That was wild. Uh, so scary.
so scary.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, that would definitely that would definitely require a firing. Is there anybody else that you remember that you had to fire? 'Cause said you had a few.
I had another lady who I had done her hair off and on for quite a few years, and this one time, she had gone to Hawaii for, like, a year, and she had naturally quite curly hair, and so she was back in Saskatoon, and she's coming to see me, and she says to me, "Okay, I got my hair cut in Hawaii about 8 months ago, and I want you to replicate it."
'Kay.
And he was like, "Okay, sure, I can do my best," and she kinda, like, tried to explain to me what the haircut was like, but
'Kay.
also this was cut, like, almost a year ago, so
Yeah,
sometimes it's fresh cut, you can kind of follow what's going on, or it could
100%.
be the last cut, right? But
Yeah,
everybody's different, and this was cut literally in another country,
yeah. 8
they
months ago.
you have naturally curly hair, so
Yeah,
really see anyway, so I did my best. And I was happy about it, but I thought it looked good. She paid, sent her out, everything was fine. Next thing you know, a few days later, I see her walk into the salon and leaves an envelope at the front desk. And I'm
'kay.
like, whatever, okay. She kind of knew everybody there, so no big deal.
And she didn't
And
talk to you that day? She just leaves an envelope and
no,
leaves?
she just, like, slides an envelope on the front desk. And so someone's like, "Tash, there's an envelope with your name on it." And I'm like, "Oh, okay." So I open it, and she wrote me a letter about how she wants her money back because I didn't replicate the cut done from 8 months ago in Hawaii, and she wasn't happy with me at all, and I either called her or wrote her an email, I don't remember, back just explaining how, I did my best, but this is, like, next to impossible. I'm not the same hairstylist that did this cut. I'm not a magician, I'm
Yeah,
just trying my best, right? And I told her, "I'm not refunding you your money. When you left, you were happy. I don't know what else to tell you, right?" And in the end, same thing. It kinda we went back and forth a couple times, and then I was like, "I'm not doing your hair anymore. This is kinda ridiculous,
yeah.
so
Clearly, you need to
if
go
you
back
can
to Hawaii.
replicate." Yeah, go back to Hawaii
Go
and
to
get your hair
Hawaii, get your hair done. Go once
yeah,
a year.
exactly. Go once a year for your once a year haircut in
Yeah,
Hawaii and stay happy because I'm
yeah.
not do
That
that
actually
for you.
sounds really nice for her.
Yeah, I would.
I would. Give me a reason. Give me a
Exactly.
reason to go back to Hawaii every year. Twist my arm,
Yep.
right?
Yep, so that was that one. Um, oh my goodness. I had another lady one time that years and years ago when I was, like, first a new stylist who saw me a few times, and she's one of those clients that was convinced that her hair was always red. She keeps telling me she's seen red. There is no red in your hair. She was literally a level 9, 10.
My God,
There's not
whoa.
red in your hair, and again, she would leave the salon and seemingly be happy, and then she would call and message and say that she just keeps seeing red, and she said that her friends were telling her that it was red.
It sounds like that Ronald McDonald girl.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, in the end, same thing. It's just like, okay, well, you get to a point where you learn, maybe I'm just not the right stylist for you.
That's a fair thing to say to someone.
Exactly, like, that's the best way to say it too, is everybody does hair differently, and you were happy when you left, I was happy when you left. If you're not happy with it, there's somebody else that can
Yeah.
try to make you look even ashier. Like, what am I gonna do, make your hair gray?
Yeah, maybe. Or green, pastel mint. I would've been like, "Come back and tell me you see gray. I dare you. Come back and tell me you see peppermint green hair."
Gosh, can you imagine doing that to somebody though?
I would put a slight metallic tint in someone's hair. What's that malicious complacency where it's like, "Oh, okay, so you see red. So I'm gonna give you exactly what you say you
Yeah,
think you need, because I
yeah,
can easily just bleach it back out afterwards or shampoo it
yeah.
out." But that way that person is like, "Oh, I guess I don't see red."
Mhm.
Which I have done that before, not necessarily with somebody who sees red. The client is like, "Oh, I just want it to be ash." I really don't think you should have it. I want it to be ash." I'm like, "Fine." And then I do it. This looks kinda dull." And I'm like, "Yep.
Yeah, or they're like, "It's so dark. Why is it
Yeah."
so dark?" And it's like, "Okay, well, I'll explain this to you again why ash is gonna look dark."
Especially if someone's doing level 7 or level 8 highlight.
Yes.
It's different when you're at a level 10, but when
Yep,
they're at a level 8 or a level 7, especially a level 7, and they want it to be that, like, smoky level 7, okay, you have 3 options. I can either make it a neutral color, which will look the brightest. I can
yep.
make it a slightly ash color where it doesn't last very long, but it kinda looks a little bit closer to your photo, but in, like, 2 weeks, that's it, babe. Maybe 3
Yeah.
weeks. Or you can make it gray dark right now and then know that in 3 weeks, you'll have the color you want, right?
Yep, exactly. It's basically moral of the story is not every stylist is meant for every person and vice
Yeah,
versa, right?
yeah.
Like, and over the years, you kind of find your clientele that works with you. They're comfortable with the way you do their hair, and
Mhm.
again, vice versa. And it's awesome once you get into that groove of it. But it's been years since I've had to fire anyone, but
Yeah.
especially in my early years of doing hair, there were so many I had to fire because it just wasn't the right fit, or they were men that would hit on me all the time. Man, one
Mm.
time I was doing somebody's hair and they reached around the back of the chair, and he reached around and grabbed me from behind and tried to rub my legs or whatever. It was terrifying.
You
Like,
literally have scissors and or chemicals by his
yeah,
head, and he
totally.
is trying to touch you?
Yeah, just things like that, just
God, that's
being a young
wild.
being a young girl in the industry, like,
Okay, this I remembered hearing it. This didn't happen to me, but there's a hair school in my area, and a girl that used to work for me said she went to school there, and she said there was a guy that would come in all the time, and he was really creepy. And I guess I really feel for women in the industry because you obviously are dealing with absolute creeps out there. And she said that this guy got caught masturbating under the cape
"Oh, no.
while he was getting a haircut.
Oh,
So
ew."
who knows? Who knows what he was doing under the cape? But they had to because it was attached to the mall, and so they had to call mall security to escort him out of the school. I would.
No, that's so disturbing.
That's
Weird.
disgusting.
Yeah, it is disgusting. Honestly, I don't know if you ever experienced creepy men or women as being like a young hairstylist. Had
No,
you
but
ever? Like,
no, but one time, this time, I give really good head massages, like, it's kinda like I got
okay,
it's just
okay.
how I made money as an assistant. My boss was like, "Go train an Indian head massage and learn it, and, just give $1 a minute add on, you can make that money." I was like, "Cool." So I would
Yep.
give these head massages, and this one guy came in, and I was giving him a head massage, and he got an erection while I was giving him a head massage, sorry, and,
Uh-huh.
like, he was a seemingly straight guy, and he had a wife, he had kids, like, the whole family came to the salon, even his mother, okay? And so
Well,
he's just laying there getting his head massage, and I guess he enjoyed it. And so at this point now, the other 2 assistants behind the bowls were all just like
huh?
mouth wide open, like, "Oh my god, this is insane." And it was impressive. Like, it wasn't like some whatever, like, it was
It was
He it
impressive.
was impressive. He could not notice it. It wasn't some tiny little bump. He was feeling it. Maybe he thought he had a cape on and you couldn't see, but his eyes were closed. Anyways, so he gets up and realizes, and of course freaks out and runs to the bathroom, finishes his haircut with my boss, because I was just the assistant, and tips me $50, never comes back to the salon ever. And to the point where I remembered overhearing his mom, "I just don't understand why so and so doesn't come back anymore."
Oh,
And
no.
I remember to be like, "I think I know why he
Oh,
didn't come
no.
back." It was so funny. And one time I saw him years and years and years and years later out in the wild, and, when someone actively doesn't make eye contact with you,
Yeah, see
he
you
did
in
everything in his power to look at everything on the sidewalk that was not in my direction. It was
awkward.
so funny. Whatever, I hope he had a sexual awakening.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that actually. I feel like maybe you awoke something in him.
I definitely awoke something.
Okay.
I will never forget that. But there was also this one time where, like, I was giving a head massage, same salon, and this girl started moaning, and I actually had to stop the massage and be like, "You're making me really uncomfortable." Because 'Cause it'd
Oh
be,
my
like,
god.
small moans, not big moans. It was like to the point where I'm more feeling it in my hands than I'm hearing it, And I was like, "Girl, this is way too intimate, like,
Oh god.
I'm not comfortable anymore." She's like, "I'm so sorry. I didn't realize that was out loud." It's very low, but I can hear
There.
it. Yeah, it's there. Oh my
Oh.
god, or the person who fucking looks at you when you're washing their
Oh,
hair.
that's the worst. Upside down?
Or even worse, if you're shampooing from the side and your arm is,
Oh
like, right
god.
over them, So
Yeah.
basically, you could just fucking reach down and give them a little pecker right there, and they just look up
Yeah.
at you.
Just
So
full eye
weird.
contact. I hate that. That's, like, one of my biggest pet peeves. Close your eyes.
Close your eyes.
It's so weird.
I don't really have a lot of people like that anymore. When I was younger, I feel like I had more people that would just try and look at
Yeah.
me.
I don't really think I do either anymore, but I have memories of that from my young days of being a
Yeah,
hairstylist and just being like, "I don't know how to handle this.
yeah.
Do I
I have
do?"
some people still that can't seem to talk to me without looking at me.
Yeah.
When they're not talking to me, they're fine looking in a different direction, but when I'm cutting their hair or doing their highlights, they have to, like, turn their fucking
Yeah.
head to look at me. "Babe, just turn your head back around. I'm doing something."
I have one that same thing. It's like she has to turn all the way around and I'm trying to cut or foil even
Or
worse.
foil, or do a
Yeah.
bleach out, and it's like, "Great, now you're gonna have a fucking I have to wipe this off, or you're gonna have a breakage spot right here." Oh
Yeah.
my god, I have one client in particular that just the mannequin head where you can't quite screw the bottom, so every time you touch
Yes,
it, it,
and
like,
it's like a
fucking moves?
bobblehead. Oh,
That's her
no.
fucking head. I'll move her head to apply, and then I can tell that she's trying to help me because she's always tilting her head towards, and it's like, "No, lean away. I need that
Yeah.
angle every single time I'm doing a bleach out." Move her head back, and then and
Gosh.
I
Just
just
never
wanna when it's a mannequin school, you wanna take the tail comb and just
Yes, stab it. You
but
know what I'm
obviously it's a human, so I'm not gonna do that.
not gonna do that? You know what I always have, like, the temptation for, and I've seen people on TikTok doing this and on Instagram is, like, in the hair sink, take the water and just put it right into their mouth. You've seen those ones, right?
Oh
Like,
my god, I've not. I think I have, but, like, I need to look into that more.
their eyes
That's
are open,
hilarious.
they're looking at you, and you just wanna, like, actually, like, spray it in.
You have to do that.
Awful.
You have
I
to do that.
yeah, you gotta look it up on or I'll see if I can send you one or whatever on
Oh, yeah.
TikTok. They are really funny. I know that I'm not the only stylist out there that's, like, fantasized about that because, like, TikTok made that a reality for me.
100%. One thing I've seen on TikTok that I wanna do is, like, one where they are like, "Is this how you're supposed to do a blowout?" And the guy's like, "Yeah," and he's, like, sitting on her lap while he's, like, doing
Yeah.
That is absolutely
So
hilarious.
hilarious.
Okay, so now it's time. This is one of my favorite parts of the episodes, besides talking about
Mm.
TikTok, is letters from our audience because I feel like at this point now we've gotten a few emails and they're starting to tie in with
Yeah.
what we're talking about because obviously we're all talking about the same things.
Uh-huh.
So this letter is from Trapped Behind the Chair. Okay. Hi,
Okay.
Locks of Lore. I need help. I have what I can only describe as a professionally unfireable client. I've been
Mm.
doing her hair for 6 years. Let's call her Vanessa. When she started seeing me, she was great. flexible, trusted my opinion, tipped well. Over time, some things shifted. Vanessa now believes we are best friends. It kind of sounds like what you were saying about the other girl, the
Yeah.
other stylist combo. She books double appointments just in case. She DMs me at midnight with screenshots of other stylists' work, asking why hers doesn't look like that. Okay, that's weird.
Hmm. Okay.
She once FaceTimed me from Sephora, asking which lip gloss she should buy because you just get me.
Oh.
But here's where it gets darker. She constantly complains about price. Every single visit. Did that go up again? Wow, I guess inflation hit you too. Maybe next time we can skip toner to save money. Meanwhile, she comes in with a new designer bag every season. She also critiques my timing. If I run 10 minutes behind, she makes passive aggressive comments about how time is money. But she's the one who shows up with 3 inspiration photos and changes her mind halfway through processing. Last appointment, she said, and I quote, I mean, I could probably find someone cheaper, but I'm loyal. I saw red.
Hmm.
I've tried to gently release her. I told her my books are getting tighter. She said she'll pre book for a year in advance. I suggested another stylist in the area who might fit her budget better. She said she doesn't trust anyone else. The final straw, she recently left me a 4-star review because she felt the vibe was off. After I wouldn't discount her gloss.
Oh,
Now,
no.
I feel stuck. If I directly fire her, she'll retaliate with reviews or gossip. She's very well connected in the neighborhood. But
Oh.
every time she's on my schedule, my stomach drops. She drains my energy before she even walks in. How do you professionally, cleanly cut off a client who refuses to be cut off? And how do you do it without lighting a match on your own reputation? Please help me escape. Trapped behind the chair. Ooh,
That's really hard.
that's a doozy.
Over all my years of doing hair, I have a few clients pretty much that I could count on one hand that ended up turning into friends, life friends that
Yeah,
now we go out and I just consider them a friend that I do their hair, right? But those are maybe the only clients, quote unquote, that I am okay with I love those kind of messages, right? They're just friends.
yeah.
They become friends. But like in any other circumstance, that's too much.
I think the FaceTime call in particular was
Yeah, that's
way too much. I would have
wild.
been like, that is out of pocket, girl. You are using my data for this? What?
Yeah.
Huh? Get whatever you want.
Yeah, that's wild. And the other thing is sort of the threat that they feel for their reputation, like getting, maybe a bad review from this person if they don't make their prices feel suitable for this client. That's really not cool. I don't
I
know.
agree. Yeah,
That's
especially when, you've been doing their hair for a while. Of course, you would understand that, like, prices evolve over time.
yeah.
Yeah, that's a tricky one. I feel like she's kinda stuck between a rock and a hard place
Yeah.
because, um, she's tried to gently fire this person, but I would probably say since she's so price conscious, I would
Yeah.
use money to fire the client. And that's how I've had to do it when I've had to fire somebody who I really can't fire. I can't exactly come out and say, "Hey, I'm not doing your hair anymore," but I
Yeah.
don't really want to. I don't discount anything. I charge every single penny for everything and sometimes a little bit more. I used to have a salon where they called it the red dot tax. It was anybody that was really difficult, they put a red dot beside them on the
Mm,
schedule so that we
yeah.
all kinda knew, or the receptionist mostly would know that if there was more than 1 red dot in the book, do not book anybody else that we can't handle 2
Yeah.
red dots at the same time type of thing, right?
Yeah.
So so I just kinda called it red dot tax. So whenever somebody was in there that was just so taxing on my energy, honestly, truly, I found adding extra money to that appointment made me not feel so drained at the end of the appointment because I was like, "You know what? I really didn't like doing your hair, but I made more from you than I did anybody else today, and that balanced it out. If you're gonna keep coming, I'm gonna know that I'm making a pretty penny off of it, and I'm not gonna feel bad at all, and especially since this particular client seems to be like, "Oh, maybe next time we'll save money by doing this," and charge her for each ounce.
Mhm.
Charge her for every second she sits in that chair. And in fact, charge extra and slowly increase it every single time. Not enough where she's going to be like talking to someone else and they'll be like, oh, I paid $300 less. just keep increasing it every single time to the point where at some point she's like, "Whoa, this is getting to be too much." And you can be like, "That's totally fine. I would love to find you another stylist that fits your budget." She'll be like, "Oh, I can only afford to come every, 8 months." Cool. That's fine for me. Then you only really have to see this person once or twice a year. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? Let's price her out of your schedule. And the best part is if she goes around and tells people that you're getting expensive, you can be like, that's because I am getting expensive. And then now that's the reputation that people are thinking, which is great because now you're like that stylist. Someone's got to be the most expensive in the city. Might as well be you. What's she going to say? Oh, I can't afford her anymore. That she has a new designer bag.
I do like the idea of maybe finding some other stylists that are more, quote unquote affordable for that person and just sending them over to them. And, there's
Yeah,
nothing wrong with that. Like I said, not every stylist is meant for every single client and vice versa. Maybe that client is going to become besties with the next
100%.
hairstylist because maybe that's what they're looking for.
Yeah.
And if you find that with the right stylist that friendship fits, then that's amazing. I love my few clients that have become real life friends, you know what I mean? But
Mm-hmm.
just because it's your stylist doesn't necessarily mean that you're gonna become best friends. So if that's
100%.
what you're looking for, then maybe move on to the next one that the fit is better.
Yeah. Now that is something that I've always struggled with. I become very friendly with my clients. So yeah, I can see how that would be, it's hard to blur that line of like friendship because like you're sitting there and you know basically everything about them. It's hard not to become their best friend.
Yeah, and I think that going back to the guys that asked me out and my friends over the years, kind of the same thing. It's sometimes hard for people to not see that line that this is just a business interaction
Yeah.
and I'm just doing your hair. I'm not flirting with you. I'm not
Yeah.
get asked out, but then they ask you out and then it gets awkward and then you have to fire them because it gets weird, right?
Yeah. You don't want to keep having to reject somebody and give them a great service at the same time.
Exactly, like, kinda same thing, right? It's just this line that, gets this weird blur because you do spend so many hours, especially if you're doing color on these clients, you spend so many hours with this person and
Yeah.
you do create friendships, right? And then when does that friendship leave the salon and become someone that just wants to FaceTime and talk about makeup and stuff, right?
Oh
When
my
does it
God. I would lose my mind if somebody
Yeah.
FaceTimed me. First of all, FaceTiming somebody is so intrusive. You want to see me? You couldn't have just sent me a photo of three
You wanna
glosses.
see
Like,
me? Yeah.
why do I need to real time see everything and you need to see me? Couldn't you just send a photo and then been like, "Hey,
Yes.
which one do you think is best?" Like,
They probably wanna hold it up to their skin tone and be like, "Here's this one with
get
this."
a boyfriend, babe. That's what your boyfriend is for.
It's hard.
It's
It's so
hard. So,
hard.
dear trapped behind the chair, I would recommend increasing your prices specifically for this person. And also, I would recommend, especially if you don't offer online booking, every time this person goes to book, suggest a time frame for them 2 to 3 weeks after they ask for a specific time. That
Mm,
way, not only are you getting more expensive, but you're also getting really hard to book. And
mhm.
whenever she offers to pre book for the year, just be like, oh, I'm sorry, I'm not offering that anymore.
My books aren't open
My
yet.
books aren't open
That
yet.
far.
Or yeah, I would just say that. That way, every time she goes to book, it just gets more and more difficult. And hopefully, one time she needs it done by a certain time, and you just won't be able to do it, and she'll just have to find somebody else,
Yep,
which
just
is
like the
great for
story
you.
that you told us earlier, Benny.
Yeah, that's how I like to fire people. Clearly,
Yeah.
I mean, if you have to actually say something to her, then that's on you. I had to in that moment, but you don't have to. There have been a lot of clients that have quite fired that I just didn't have to say anything. I just priced myself out for them or
Yeah,
timed myself out.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yepers. Good luck with that.
Yeah, good luck with that. And,
Let us know.
yeah, give us a follow-up. If you do try this and it doesn't work or it does work, just let us know how it goes.
Hmm.
If you have a tricky salon situation, either it has to deal with your clients, another stylist in the salon, a product that you just can't stand anymore, or anything to do with our industry, or not, if you want to just chat with us, please send us an email. Our email is locksoflorepodcast@gmail.com. We'd love to hear from you.
And have a great week. That wraps up today's episode of Locks of Lore. If this conversation hit close to home, make sure to subscribe, leave a review, and share it with a stylist who needs to hear it.
You can find us on social media at Benny_and the Jets.
And at tashpotatoes_hair.
If you've got a story, question, or salon situation you want us to break down, send it our way, anonymously always, at locksoflorepodcast@gmail.com.
Until next time, know your worth,
Protect your energy.
and we'll see you behind the chair.